Hi, I'm Richard Peng, and this is my show, Flatout. With me I have my friend and longtime Porsche owner and club member, Michael Spraggins. How are you?
Hey Richard, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You're here.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Now, of all the marks that there are, what drew you to Porsche in particular?
Well, by the way, I am into Porsches, and I think the thing that drew me into Porsches was back in the 50s. They were the mark. They were the little company, that was beating some of the giants back then. I particularly fell in love with the Porsche 904, which was their mid-engine road car that was really a race car back around 1964, 65.
Was it for homologation then?
It was, yeah, it was. But I really love the lines of it, and I like the fact that it was mid-engine, so I always wanted to own a 904. However, I don't have the financial means to own a real 904.
Oh, that being said, did you ever notice the similarities uncannily between that and the Ferrari Dino?
Oh, yes, there are absolute similarities between those two cars. But because I was not able to afford the 904 or a real version of it, I actually gravitated towards a 914 because that was a mid-engine Porsche that I could afford.
Did you suffer any flack from other Porsche owners who were used to the rear-engine road cars?
Well, the 914 they say is a NARP, N-A-R-P. We call it a NARP, which is not a real Porsche because it's got that distinction of being, half Volkswagen and half Porsche, although it was fully designed by the Porsche factory. But there were two models. There was a 914-4, which they made about 115,000 or so, and there's a 914-6, which was 100% made in the Porsche factory. So I have one of each. The 914-4 that I have, I'm converting to a 914-6, and I'm going to use that strictly as a track and driver's education car.
What are you using your 914-6 for then?
Well, right now my 914-6 has to perform some track duties until I get the track car ready. But I plan to really put that on the street and have it as a nice street car.
Are you taking any particular risks right now for it to be a track car then?
Well, anytime you're on the track, you take risk. You could total the car or do some serious damage to it. But this is driver's education, and we're not really supposed to be racing.
Because that would be wrong.
Correct, right. So it is driver's education, so there's a fair amount of safety, and as you progress through the groups, you get to know the other drivers that you're running with, and it's fairly safe.
Oh, I realized earlier on, as you progress into a higher run group and with more driver skill, that the numbers get smaller?
No, they don't. Actually, you kind of take your number and run with it all the way through the course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What drew you to the 861 that you have on the side of your car then?
Oh, the number 861?
Yeah.
In 1986, that was the year I got my first 914, hence the 861. 86, first Porsche.
So if you were to renumber it with the same principle today, what would it be?
If I were to renumber it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'd keep the same number.
So between your first 914 and the two you own now, how many have you had in between?
Oh, I've probably had, 7 or 8 914s. At one time I had 5.
Wow.
None of them ran. So I took parts off of those that I could, and some of them had to actually be junked because the rust was so bad. They're notorious for rust. So I salvaged parts off of it, sold a lot of parts off. Some people got some really good deals on engines and other components, and I saved some parts for myself.
Nice. As for the rust, was the steel not galvanized for the body?
No, not back then. It wasn't. But the 914 is a great car. There's a lot of them out there still racing on the track and competitive. So it's a great car for me.
Glad you saved a couple of them for your own purposes then. Alright, well, thank you for your time, and very much so thank you for your time.